Yeah, well, one certainly doesn't count for much. It certainly was hard fought to try and get the first one, but you always felt the first one was going to be the hardest to get because, there's a lot of emotional energy spent, and when you sort of get in that losing streak, she's tough to break. So the first one we got was going to be always ugly, and then today I just thought our execution was really, really good. Our first quarter we were backs to the wall a little bit, but through the rest of the game I thought our execution of our game style was fantastic. So to turn that around.
What do you think allowed you to suffocate Adelaide so well, not to give them any free movement at all?
Oh, well, they were getting the open side of the field far too often early, and that was sort of moving our defence around a little bit too much. And so their uncontested marks early was probably more the worry than anything else. And once we were able to deny them that, certainly our forwards played a big part in that by the pressure they were able to provide on the ball coming out, on the kicker, and also they were able to create some turnovers. So I thought our forwards played a massive part in that, and that helped our defenders and certainly our midfielders to turn the footy the other way.
I know Jonathan Brown didn't sort of show it on the scoreboard, but I thought he had a huge impact on the game. Just what does his return mean to your side?
Oh, it means a lot. He's our skipper, he's our captain, he's our most valuable player. That's stating probably the obvious that we all know. But he didn't kick any goals today, and if there's been a benefit out of the fact that Brownie hasn't been around, is we've had to find goals from everyone else. We've had to be relying on Brownie to kick goals for us in the past to kick a winning score. So maybe his absence over the last few weeks has let other people grow, and Brownie's playing a role for us, which is great. And he'll do that brilliantly, as we know Jonathan Brown will do. But he also needs help, and so hopefully as a growth of a team, we've seen something maybe.
What about Mitch Clark? He played deep when Brown was out. Where do you reckon his position is?
Well, he does like to get up and roam around the ground. He likes that freedom to be able to move. But I think the beauty about Mitch is his flexibility. He can play in the ruck for us. He can play as a genuine midfielder if he needs to, or play as that marking forward. So I think that's his strength. He enjoys that, more roaming commission, and he'll continue to persist with that. He's very good for us today. So I really thought he hit his straps today, and certainly found his role very good and very impactful on the game.
You mentioned yesterday about seizing momentum and stopping it. How did you actually turn it around in the second quarter?
I was stopping out in contested marks. So that was the biggest one that was happening. We were getting our hands on it in and around the ball. So we were getting our fair opportunities there, but just we weren't able to either hold the footy ourselves, or they were able to, or we couldn't get it off them early. So look, there's a lot of times, we spoke about it before game, but you're going to have times where you've lost that momentum, if you want to call it that, and there's times when you're going to have it. And I thought that when the times that Adelaide had it, we weren't getting scored against heavily, and that's not something that's been a strong point of ours for the last, for the first 6-7 weeks. But when we had it, we were able to build that pressure over the period of time, and then eventually we were able to get those 2-3 goals that gave us that break, and which probably happened to be the break in the end. So it was pleasing the guys really fought their way through that rather than thinking they were going to sink the slipper in, early in the game, because that just wasn't going to happen.
What's been the difference from Brisbane being competitive to now being victorious?
I think probably the biggest thing has been when we looked at our games, we were just making really fundamental errors. And our execution and game style, wasn't there completely, but it was very much our concentration errors and lapses. And I think that we've sort of addressed that in our training over the last month, giving our players a chance to be able to work on those aspects of the game that they have to get right under pressure. And as a result, I think we're starting to execute that a bit better. So certainly the concentration lapses are less. Yes, we could be a bit nitpicky and say maybe one or two we could do away with, but I thought generally across the game this week was much better.
How useful was Brett Burton's inside information?
He's pretty valuable. To be able to have an insight into what the opposition does is always valuable. He was important. Certainly a lot of the coaches picked his brain, the players certainly did, and I know I did. So if you're saying what impact he had, by being able to give us that extra little bit of preparation, you search for every little percent, and if that percentage difference made the difference, then that's been valuable for us today.
You done anything different as a coach in the last month or so to turn it around?
I think probably just highlighting the differences in our change. our focus at training. That's been the last month. We've worked away at that, and I think we're just sort of starting to see the results of that training that the players are taking on. One thing the players have never lost, they've never lost the faith, they've never lost the belief, and they've never lost their intent. And because they've been able to maintain that, our training's still been of a good quality. They've still presented themselves very well, they've prepared very well, and they held the faith to be able to do that. So it's got nothing to do with me as a coach, it's got to do with the players' approach, and I think that's been what I've been most pleased with.
And Simon Black is still worth his weight in gold.
Yeah, he's all right, isn't he? Yeah, no, he's a good player.
Is there a good argument there to keep the seniors in to give structure to the young kids?
I would have thought very good argument, but yeah, I mean, one of the things that you get with your more senior players is that they give the chance for the younger players to grow around them, and you know, if that alleviates some of the pressure. I mean, Daniel Rich, I think, had Riley in the first half, and then he had to go to Simon Black. I mean, and then it opens up Daniel Rich. So that's what it gives you. It gives you the ability for our players to be able to grow in and around players like that. Holding him is a huge role model for our club and for our players, and they really look up to him. So having him around is pretty important, yeah.